Welcome to the Subpub Podcast. I'm Danny Moreno.
And I'm MK Sullivan. And we are super excited today about our guest. We have Clémentine Geoffray on the podcast. She is a professional mountain runner for Kip Run. She recently won the Skyrunning Series overall crown, but the big result of her year, not that skyrunning isn't, but is that she is also our world champion in the short trail at Innsbruck this year. She also won the French National Championship, which got her to the World Championships, and MCC, which is the 42K distance during the UTMB week. Welcome, Clémentine.
Well, hello.
Hi. We are so excited to have you. First off, how is your body feeling post the end of the season, just coming off of the Skyrunning World Championship final?
Yeah, I'm very tired and totally destroyed. Like my legs are tired and I really need a rest now. But at the same time, I'm very happy. And I feel also that mentally it's time to stop because the season was very long, finally.
Yeah, you've been like racing since well before the World Championships. Your first race of the year was the Trail de la Cité des Pierres, which is a 31K. And that was in March. And you just finished your season with the Skyrunning Masters. So that is quite a season.
Yes, Trail de la Cité des Pierres, it was a French championship.
Oh,
And
yes.
so
Okay.
we started with this, and yes, it was quite long.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I did notice that you run cross country though as well. Like
Yes, I also
prior to
ran
the
before. Yeah, I ran cross country, but I stopped like at regional level because then I wanted to prepare trail running since French championship was very early in the season.
Yeah, that was something very interesting about this year with the World Championships because they finished in Thailand the previous year. And then because that was delayed multiple years, then all of a sudden it was again in June, and all of the countries seemed to be scrambling for how are we going to pick our team? What races are going to help select it? So I feel that a lot of people maybe started their seasons earlier this year because of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think also for us, the people who were very performant at World Championship in Thailand were automatically selected for Innsbruck. But I was in Thailand, but for mountain running, and so I had to take my selection for trail running if I wanted it.
Yeah, that makes sense. In the US, our first qualifier for Worlds was like February of this year. So February and March is so early.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just a reminder for our listeners, when she says mountain running versus trail running, that might be a little bit confusing, but in Thailand, she did the shorter distance, the mountain classic, I'm guessing, where short trail, as confusing as that sounds, because it's still almost a 5-hour race, was the race that she then had to earn a spot for. That's really cool. So if somebody did well in Thailand on the team, is that just the first person on the French team, or could it be multiple people?
It was three first of the team. If the team was a world champion.
Oh, I see. Okay.
The women's team was for short trail, right?
No, for long, yes.
Long trail.
Yeah.
Okay. So
and
they
short,
automatically made it. Okay.
Dang,
yeah, and so cool. For short trail, it was the only one with all the places available. We had to qualify.
Yeah. Yeah, that is interesting. It's cool to hear how each country kind of picks their team. Because in the US, you only get to be on the next team if you're the world champion, not even if you're, say you're second or third, then you have to requalify, which I don't necessarily agree with, because obviously that's a great performance. So to hear that, yeah, if the team wins, then yeah, why wouldn't you want the same team? That seems like a no-brainer for them to
especially that close together, like with an October and June.
Yeah.
Maybe with the 2-year gap, it's a little different, but when it's that close, that definitely makes sense to bring back the gold medal team.
Yeah, I think it's for that reason that they choose to do like that. Yes.
Yeah. Well, we definitely want to dive more into your results, but honestly, I don't know much about you. I doubt any of our listeners know much about you. So we'd love to dive in a little bit into how you got to where you are today. How long have you been in the sport?
So when I was 8 years old, until 22 years old, I mainly did kayak of slalom. So I did this sport, but I also loved running, cross-country skiing, and biking also. So I think I already had a good physical condition for sure. And then at 22, I stopped kayak, and I wanted to try running more, and I did some competitions. It was like I had the good results, and so this was a nice uh, how do you say virtual cycle, cercle vertueux,
Okay.
to to continue in that uh, yes, in that direction. And I had the chance to be in a team for young people. It's a team Buff Oka Lessesi. It's a French team only with young runners. And so at this moment, I had for the first time a coach, specifically in athleticism, and this helps me to progress also, because then my training was more structured, and then little by little I progressed, and I had my first national selection for mountain running in 2018. And so then I I continue and started to do a little bit longer, but for the moment I didn't do longer than in Innsbruck. So yes.
Okay, I have a couple of questions. The first one being kayak slalom. So are you like going down rapids and trying to avoid
Yeah,
obstacles?
yeah, that's it. And you have some doors. We are yes, in French.
Yeah.
Yes, and you have to pass them, and not to touch them, not to leave them. You have to take everyone and finish faster as you can.
Talking to trail runners is the weirdest thing in the world. We are finding some just like random sport backgrounds where like I feel like when you talk to road runners, everybody's like, yeah, I've run track since I was 10 years old. You're over here doing kayak slalom. We've got Antonio doing parkour before he was like a runner. I love this so much.
Yeah. And it's an Olympic event too, I believe.
Yes,
Yeah.
slalom, yes. I also did descent kayak, but this isn't Olympic. It's just descending the river faster as you can, the fast as you can. Yes.
Did you ever do where you go off waterfalls?
No, never. Maybe you know Nuria Newman.
No.
She's a she's a famous French kayaker that does a kind of big rivers, but this I didn't do. No.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
so cool. How do you get into that? Is that like a thing that's very common where you're from?
Doing kayak? No, 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 no. There are many paddlers in France, but the other trail runners, I don't know many trail runners that did kayak before.
That's awesome. Yeah, to me, it's kind of similar maybe to downhill skiing, especially when you're going downriver, in the sense that it takes a lot of coordination, like eye coordination and
Okay.
depth perception, and focus, and kind of multitasking, right? Like you're trying to navigate hitting the different poles and or not hitting the poles and stuff like that. So, I mean, it makes sense why I haven't seen it in person, but I've heard it and seen on video how much you're a tremendous downhill runner. And so to me, that kind of makes sense that you're used to moving really fast and having to dodge and think about things. Do you think that carries over?
Yes. I'm sure it helps me in this technique in descent. Yes, for sure.
That's so cool. And so my other question was going to be about the team that you were on, the youth team. Is that like what ages was that for, and was it specific to trail running?
Yes, it was a specific trail running, and it was like until 25, 26 years old. Then, when you are 26, you go out because it's only for younger runners. Yes, trail runners.
And is
Okay.
it for like does the French team do this, or is it like a private sponsored team?
It's private sponsor. Yes, yes. It's first. It's a journalist, Fred Bousseau, that built this team, and so yes, he was a team manager, but we it's we were just young and happy to run and have a coach. So that was very cool.
Yeah, that is really cool. We definitely don't have any, well, I guess we have people getting into the sport at younger and younger ages, but no organized team aside. Maybe we have the trail team, but they're not training together. And so this man, you said Fred Russo,
Yeah.
was his name? How long did he coach you once you left that team?
Fred didn't coach, he was a manager, but my coach was Julien Rancon. And yes, he continued to coach me like 1 or 2 years after. And then I changed, but this year I have a new coach, yes.
And is this like a coach that you knew through other athletes, or how did you find your new coach?
The new coach is the coach of my actual team. So,
Oh, gotcha. Of Kip Run.
yes.
Gotcha. Okay. I saw a photo of him, I think,
Yeah.
on the website with all of you guys. That's cool. So does he coach everyone on the team?
No, because it's if we want. If we want, he coaches, and if we don't want, so I asked him because I wanted to change. I think it's important to renew the way to train. So I asked him in Thailand, when I was in Thailand, and we started officially in January.
Okay, cool. That's really cool that the sponsor like offers a coaching possibility, because that's definitely not a thing I would say in pretty much all other sponsorship agreements.
Yeah, that's really cool. They're really trying to capitalize on that true team environment, you all working together. So with him coaching you, what does your training look like? Are you mostly training by yourself, or do you run with other girls that are on the team?
I train by myself because we are all in other regions in the team, but we gather like 4 times per year for stage, to train and for competitions. But yes, I mainly train alone finally.
And where do you live and train?
I live in Grenoble, so it's very nice to train because Grenoble is a town surrounding by many mountains, and like I when I go in the garden, I have like lots of ascent directly near my home.
That's always so nice. Both Danny and I live in mountain towns where we can pretty much run vert from our house, so we can relate with the convenience of that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you work outside of running?
So yes, I'm a PE teacher, but this year I will not. I don't work because it's a little bit complicated. Like last year, I was detached. I don't know how to say, but I wasn't clearly PE teacher, but I was organizing competitions for the universities in Grenoble, and I didn't want to continue this job because I couldn't run as much as I wanted, because you need to be really present at the at the at the university.
Yeah.
So I asked if I could be PE teacher again, and they told me not for this year because it's too late to ask, but so I will ask for next year if it's possible to find a place to be PE teacher, because when you are PE teacher you don't have many hours to teach. It's easier.
And
Yeah.
you said you're a PE teacher for the university?
No, for how do you say college and like young children, but I was like how when I organized competition for the university, it was a condition like I'm a PE teacher, but I can work at university only for this job.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. That's cool. And usually for us, I don't know college so much, but grade school all the way up until university, PE teachers will also, I would say 90% of the time are also teachers. And so they'll teach all day and then sometimes they'll switch, at least where I grew up. And then there's some schools where, the PE teacher is just PE teacher and they're doing that all day. So yeah, that's super interesting. That's kind of nice though, because then, yeah, if you're able to just do those classes, then the day is much shorter and you have more time to train.
Yeah, when you do classes, you have 20 hours per week. So
Gotcha. Yeah, that's great.
It's great, yes.
With your coaching change this year, so I mean, it's safe to say that you had an incredible year, probably one of the best years of any sub ultra runner for 2023. Do you think that a lot of these results had to do with the coaching change, or what other components kind of, gave you a glimpse into that this year might be extra special?
Yeah, many components, because I live in Grenoble only since September 2022. So this changed this year. So the coach, also, how do you say, in my love life, how do you, I don't know, but there was some changing also. So many components made me also progress for sure, yes. And I think the environment helped a lot, because when I do some footing, some slow training, I immediately have lots of ascent, whereas before no. So I think this change is really important.
Yeah. So prior to that, did you live somewhere that was more flat?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you say that you had a change in your love life, was this a positive change?
Yes, separate and then finding someone else. But yes, that was complicated, and also it enables me to breathe maybe again. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so overlooked, I think, a lot of times, is our relationships with family, friends, but also romantic partners, and how important it is that it's a good one for you, whatever that looks like, and how much that affects training and such like that. Personally, in college, I was in a terrible relationship, and now I see like how much that was a detriment to my running. And it's crazy how much I mean, it's just insane how much it affects, just your day to day, and that how that kind of compounds upon each other over time.
Yeah.
And so we touched on this a little bit earlier, but you do cross country, or you did cross country this year. Do you do that every year as like a kind of like a speed block into the trail season, or do you just do it for fun?
Yes, I do it every year. I think it's important for me to have a speed block in the start of the season, and also since the season is very long, if I started directly with a long run, etc., I think at the end I would be totally yes. I don't want to do this all the year. So
Yeah.
I like a variety, and this is a good mean to change. And during the season, you don't get boring of what you do. Yeah.
Is I totally agree with that. The cross country in Europe looks so cool. Like, are those races very accessible for all ages, and are there a lot of them? Because in the US, I've struggled to find races that, just anyone can sign up for.
Ah, we have the national races. Like if you want to do a French championship cross country, you have to do a departmental, regional, interregional, and then a French championship. So yes, it's you follow the the levels, and that's the season of cross.
Yeah, because watching you and Blondine and Francesco Pupi like run cross country this year, I was like so jealous because there's like two open events in the US every year, and they're like in December when we're all really tired and don't want to race anymore.
Mm.
And I was like, man, I need to move to France just to run like cross country.
Yes, it's very cool. I love this period when you fight, and it's since it isn't your sport. Fun. I do try running first, so you fight, but it's just a nice training for us, and I really love it. Yes.
So cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. We're really jealous you have those options.
Come in France.
Yeah, come to France, exactly. Oh, that's easy. We'll do that. Okay, so cross country, you do cross country, and then you do the French National Championship to qualify for the World Champs race. And just to touch upon that race, were you going in expecting to win that race?
No, not at all. My last season wasn't very nice in 2021, and like in the French Championship, I finished four, and I thought I did a good race, so I didn't expect winning at all. Just I knew I was in good shape, but the race was very strange because it started in descent and very, very fast. And I was afraid about this start because uh, there will be a single track very early in the race. And so I wanted to be in good place at this entering of the single to not to be stopped. And so I started very fast, and then I was first, and I told me, okay, you are first, you will see, you will see. And I was watching my watch, looking at my watch, and like it was 1 hour of race. I told me, okay, you are first for 1 hour, but let's see, you just try to maintain this rhythm, and you will see. So I was very, very happy, and moreover that I didn't expect it. And but at the end, it was like no more kilometers. At this moment, I didn't drink enough. I didn't eat enough during the race, and so I felt that at the end, it was the limit for me on this day.
And so you come out of the French championships, you've won, you didn't expect to win, and you're headed towards world champs at this point. How is your confidence coming off of the French championships going into worlds for your first short trail ever?
Yeah, the words was totally different for me because the track, the course was longer, very longer. Like a French championship, it was 2 hours and 20 minutes maybe, and the World Championship was double, more than the double. So for me, it was so different that I told me, okay, now I'm very motivating to train for this challenge, which is very different from what I did in March on French Championship. So I was just very motivated and I wanted to do my best for sure, but I didn't expect, for example, to win because first I didn't think I didn't know my international level. Like the last time I did the World Championship, it was in 2019 in Portugal, and I finished 11. So I told me, just do your race and you will see.
Yeah, I was at that championship too, and that one early on bottlenecked in Portugal. I don't know if you remember that. It was like the bridge, and I was so confused in the moment. I was like, what is going on here? And so for Innsbruck, was the plan then similar to get out super hard before it closed up on the single track?
Mm. Yes, it was quite the same, but we have the place to pass if we wanted. Just yes, the first descent it was like yes, complicated to pass people, but I I managed to do it. So I wasn't like stopped comparing to Portugal, where after like I don't know 5 minutes of race, we were stopped at the bridge, and I did a little track. Like I didn't understand why the course was designed like that.
So you said at the end of the French championships, you felt like you had reached your limit because you hadn't eaten or drank enough. So did you nail that down? Did you practice that a lot in the lead up to the World Championships, knowing that it was going to be such a longer race?
Yes. I did some long run where I had some water with energetic inside, and also gels. And yes, I really train on that part of the race, and I think it's very important. And even with that, in during the World Championship, I wasn't the best example because like in the last ascent, I couldn't take any gels. I was disgusting, and I was waiting for the last station where there was a apple compote. I don't know what that compote, and this was a very nice. Yes, where apple in liquid apple. Yeah.
Applesauce, maybe?
Yes, applesauce, exactly.
Yeah.
And yes, it's always a little bit complicated to drink enough, to eat enough, but it's a
I
game.
don't I don't know how you made it up that last hill without eating, because I think I had like 3 or 4 gels on that final hill. I was like
Ah,
slamming food to try to like
yeah.
pass people.
Me during the race, all the race, I ate maybe, I think 5 gels maximum,
Oh my
no
gosh.
more. But I don't. It's a mistake, but I don't manage.
But did you have mix in your water?
Yes, water only with mix. excepted when we take water ourselves at the station. There it was only water.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense then.
Those usually have plenty of calories in it too, which helps.
Yeah. I'm curious because at least watching, MK was in the race, but trying to follow along myself, it seemed almost immediately you and Judith, kind of had a race in the front going on. And so I'm curious if, one, you've raced Judith before and are aware of her strengths, and two, when did you decide was the best time to pass her, or was it that, something else was going on?
I knew Judith, and I knew she was strong, but like at the start of the race, I didn't know exactly who will be in front. I didn't have this idea of people, and so I saw her at the beginning going very fast, and then I didn't see her anymore. But I was in my right, and I wanted just to be focused on me. And it was a surprise when I arrived at 10 kilometers and they told me, you are two, because I thought I was like 5, 6. I didn't expect that. And in the second big ascent, there is another girl that passed me. I didn't remember, but she was I don't know her name. She was on the vertical race also.
Is she a Swiss woman?
Yes, maybe.
It might have been Therese Leboeuf because she ended up finishing.
Yeah. No, it isn't Teresa Leboeuf because then I think it's a German
Oh,
girl.
Laura Hottenroff.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
it.
Oh, yeah.
It was Laura. She passed me, and so I told me, okay, continue, and we'll see. Continue, go on. And then at the end of the ascent, I passed her again. And then I didn't see her anymore because there was a quite big descent. And then, yes, for the last ascent, I was seeing, like at the middle of the last ascent, I saw Judith, and people were telling me, you go, you will catch. And so I did my best. I saw that I was running and she was more walking. But then I passed her after the station. There was still a little bit ascent, and just at the end of this ascent, I passed her. I didn't mind anything. I was behind her, and I thought I could pass, so I passed her. And then I told me, just don't look back and go in. I was waiting for the last descent, and I just wanted to go as fast as I can.
Yeah, so just as a reminder for our listeners, the final descent at Worlds was, I'm looking at the segment right now, 2.81 miles, 3,600 feet of loss. And Clémentine on the day, both men's race and women's race went down this hill, and she was the 6th fastest time on the day, men or women. So you got reckless on that downhill. That is so cool.
Yes, it was really, I don't remember very well, but just I was only focused on on the arrival. Like I saw it was very steep, and we saw the valley, and I just wanted to go in the valley. And
Yeah.
and I loved this kind of single tracks. It was very playful, and I loved it. Yes.
That's amazing.
That's definitely the most fun I've ever had on a downhill before. And I don't really enjoy downhills like that very much, but I like the word playful. It was very playful.
Yeah.
Oh man, 6th overall. That's the first time I've looked at that. I was like, I got to pull that up before we finish this conversation.
Yeah.
But I think it's because the race was like quite long comparing to very short trial runs, and boys also were very tired. Everybody was very tired at this moment, and I think it was the ability to be endurant in this effort, also in the descent effort. And yeah, I think at this moment of the race we are not equal but more competitive with the
Yeah.
men also.
So we've talked about Anders on this podcast before and how he's like one of the better downhillers in the world. And so he ran this downhill in 19 minutes and 48 seconds, and you ran it in 21 minutes and 8 seconds. That's so impressive.
That's incredible. Yeah, MK, I feel like you can feel it more in your bones than I can since you
Yeah.
also ran that downhill.
It took me 24 minutes and I was 66th overall on this segment.
But
And
that's
I'm
including men, including men.
Yes,
That's,
including
okay,
men.
that's good.
For women, I was much higher, but
That's amazing. And so you end up winning, right? You cross the line and kind of, does that hit you immediately or does it take, you know, a day or two, or maybe it's when you're standing and hearing your national anthem getting played?
Yes, I needed time to realize, because you pass the line, yes, you are very happy, but then everything is so fast. You go to pee, then the podiums, even the podiums, I was very happy, but it's really after when you see like reactions on the networks, all that things when you come back in France. Yeah, it takes time to realize. And yeah, I didn't expect that. So yes, it's too much maybe on in one time.
Yeah, no, definitely. And so at this point, do you have the rest of the year planned already for what you were going to do after Worlds, or were you just kind of taking it week by week?
Then I had the idea to do sky running at this moment, because I already did one sky race, la sky race des Mathésins in May. So I knew that if I do two others and the final, it could be nice to, yes, to run all the circuit. So after that, I registered on Schlegeis, which was also in Austria. And I wanted also to race Matterhorn, but when people told me that Matterhorn will be more technical than Schlegeis, and Schlegeis was already very technical, I found it, I like when it's technical, but this was my limit, I think. And when they told me, yes, Matterhorn is more difficult, I decided to do rather a UTMB race, but I couldn't do the OCC because of running stone. So they accepted me on MCC. So I was like happy. And then to finish the circuit sky running, I went to Gorbea for the third race. Yes.
yeah. So you won Mathesines and Gorbea. So how did you pick which sky running races you wanted to do? Because there's honestly so many of them.
Yeah, with the calendar. Like Matezin was a preparation race for the World Championship. So it was, and it was just near Grenoble, so very close to my home.
Okay.
So it was very practical. Then Schlegeis, it was good in the calendar. I had to choose between Schlegeis and Dolomite if I wanted to run Dolomite. I didn't want to do the both. And so I told me, since I already did one sky race, I continue. So I choose the Schlegeis. And the last one, it was the last one I could do. Like it's always calendar, and I watched and I told me, okay, go to Gorbea. And my boyfriend was on Skyrun, which is very close to Gorbea. So on the same weekend, so we went together and it was nice.
Yeah. So I'm curious because it looks like you did a race called Trail du Tour des Fils.
Yes.
There's that one. Is that an uphill race or something? It looks very
Yes,
short.
Yes, this one I was with my team because Kipron is partner of this race. So they asked us to do one race in the weekend. So I did this, but I took the start and then I did a train in the race. I wasn't in a race mode, and so I did some ascent, descent, and it was very fun. And then I finished the race, but this was a training. Yes.
Yeah, that's cool.
Mm.
How and then at Schlegisch, sorry if I'm messing that up, you ended up getting second to Karina, who we also recently had on the podcast. And I'm just curious because sometimes when people have, a really big result, the mental, there can be a mental shift in like, oh, I can only win now. If I do anything less than a win, or they put a lot of pressure on themselves. And I'm just curious what your mindset kind of was going into the rest of the year and how you managed that, because I mean, you got second there, but that still is an incredible result, considering like how technical it was. And then, yeah.
Mm. Yes, I had more pressure, but it's only my fault. I was, I think, more stressed, and I wanted to have a fast start and to be a little bit alone in the race then. But it didn't happen like that. I had a fast start, but then yes, Carrie was very strong um, everywhere because she passed me in the ascent, like after maybe 1 hour and a half of a race, and then I couldn't just follow her. She was very, very fast, and even in the descent, because I told me, okay, maybe I will be better in descent, but no, not that day and not in that kind of race. And so I go on, and yes, I was very happy because that's keep out a little bit the pressure. Like I was very happy to finish second, and I saw also the reactions of people, and they just were happy for me. And so I told me, okay, you are not, you will not win every time. It's normal, and so yes, it was a very good experience, and I was happy after the mondial to have another race with lots of concurrents, but just doing my race and be happy of the results.
Yeah, I like that. I like that you saw that other people were happy for you and you're like, oh, right, this is the pressure that I put on myself. Like these people still think I'm really awesome.
Yeah, that's it. I think people don't care if you can win, you can lose. So many informations everywhere on the networks. People they just watch and congrats if you do good things, and so comfort you if it's more difficult, and that's all.
Yeah. My husband always likes to remind me that it doesn't really matter. It's just running.
Yes, yes, for sure.
So tell us a little bit about the final, because I've never run in the Sky Masters or Sky Running series, but it's so interesting to me that like people who haven't run the rest of the season show up to race in the final, because it's just like different that way. So yeah, just tell us about the final and like racing people that you hadn't raced all year, and yeah.
Yeah, for the final, so yes, you have people that had already done 3 races, and so they play in the Sky Master. But you have also other like Sarah. She was very, very, very strong, and so at the start I was. It isn't a good thing because I was too much focused on Iris and my result my result and not my feelings. And the race started fast, and in the first ascent I wasn't I wasn't well at all. I was too hot, and I didn't manage to run. I was like no, not in good shape. I think it's mental more than physical. Physical, I felt good, but mentally it was so hard. I can't explain. I think yes, I was stressed, and it's the end of the season, and maybe I didn't want to race again so hardly. And so in my head, when I arrived at the top of the first ascent, I was like, I was 10, and in my head it was like, well, try to stay in the top 10. But really, I thought Iris was very, very far away. And so I took my ride at this moment. And after, yes, 2 hours, I find other girls again because I was alone. And so there was Hilary, Kali. I passed them. And just after, I saw again Iris. So I passed her also. And I saw also Carrie then. But Carrie in the descent, she put an acceleration and I couldn't follow her. And at the end, it was so hard for me because I didn't drink enough at all. And yes, hydration was very, very bad. And so at the end, I don't know how I did to cross the finish line. Really, it was. I I don't know how to explain, but it was in so bad shape. Like my legs, they were running, but it was. I saw there was the third girl in front of me, Olivia, but just I knew that I will never pass her because I didn't have the legs for that, and I just wanted to cross the line, and it will be a victory for me because my body was totally finished.
Yeah, I feel that we all have had those days where it can be so frustrating in the moment because there's nothing wrong with the body. It's healthy. But yeah, different factors like nutrition, time of season, right? We've raced the whole year and the body's like, not today, maybe tomorrow, but not today.
That's exactly that.
We had touched on it a little bit last episode, that you and Iris were tied going into the final. So like showing up on that day and just mentally not feeling it probably did not feel good at all, because I imagine that you guys were ready to race like tooth and claw for that championship.
Yes, it was very tired, and so I'm happy to have finished this all the races, but it's really time to get the season.
Yeah. Last question about the Skyrunning Championships. What did you think of the course? Me and MK are still learning about the series, and it looked beautiful. What did you think of it?
Of all the courses, or
just the final, Limon?
The final. Oh, it was wonderful, really beautiful. Limon is so nice little town, and then when you climb, you see all the lake. No, really, it's a very nice course. Very difficult, I found it, because it was hot, because it was the last descent was very long and hard for the muscles, but beautiful course. I recommend.
Was it shorter than most of the other sky races that you do? Like
yes, it was shorter because all the other ones were at least 29, I think. So a little bit shorter, but many ascent and descent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, congrats again on winning the Skyrunning World Series champion. You are now the reigning champion. And she also picked up a 20,000 euro check, which is, I'm sure, nice at the end of the season to get that money. And something that MK and I had touched upon was how I think that's the biggest prize purse for any series right now is 20,000 euros. So that's huge. So yeah, congrats.
Thank you. Yeah, of course, I'm very happy, and it was important to finish well this race to be able, because Carrie was very strong, and it was really short to win. So yeah, I'm happy not to have failed my my, my position during the end of the races.
Yeah, it always gets super exciting in the finals. It happens similarly in Golden Trail, where the points they start to get really close because of the extra points that you get in that last race.
Yes, but I saw equality between the two first.
Yeah, and the tiebreaker was just that Sophia had won more races throughout the regular season.
Okay.
Yeah. So always exciting in the final races there. But you are done for the season now, yes?
Yes, no more. At the beginning, I had to do another race to qualify for OCC, but they allowed to make another race in 2024 to qualify. So
Yeah,
now it's okay.
that it would have I do not think you would have had a lot of fun trying to qualify for OCC after the way that you just talked about how you felt at Sky Masters.
Yes.
Yeah. And so are you just taking a break right now?
Yes. Yes. I stopped running at least 2 weeks, and then I will start progressively with also mountain bike, running a little bit, and then I will prepare the cross country season. Yes.
Nice. Yeah, that's cool. So do you do anything else during your break? Sometimes athletes will cycle or, go out and do other stuff.
I cycle all the year. I love cycling, even for training. So not during the break, but I will do a little bit kayak, maybe swimming also a little bit, and then just walking. I'm happy just to walk sometime, because when you run, you don't watch the landscape, etc. So I will walk. I think some little walks, but that's nice. And I will also go to the cinema or bowling, things like that also.
I love that.
I think that I don't know about how Danny feels about this, but I have learned so much about just like rest and recovery from the people that we interview on here. I don't know if it's just like a US thing or what, but I'm so bad at taking time off. And then I hear like you're like, oh, 2 weeks of nothing. And I'm like, oh, I need to do that.
It helps a lot. And just
Yeah.
like your mental, I'm sure I mean, you train it all year to recover, right? So, maybe physiologically your body would be ready to start training again this weekend, or a week after, but it's more like the mental mind, I think, that you have to rest, because like you said in this last race, it was just, you're like, I'm tired.
Yeah, exactly. I need to cut with the environment of competition, of all that things, and not only 2 weeks. Mentally, I think it will be like I know that I have 2 months is cool. No competitions, no stress on my body. I stress for the training, but competition is different. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's very comfortable.
Competition definitely adds like an emotional layer that you don't get like when you're just kind of easy training.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, last note on this recovery, I think I have maybe 1 or 2 more days. I've taken some time off from running as well the past few weeks, and I couldn't agree more with walking. I just have been walking, and I'm like, why don't I just walk? Why do I run? This is really nice to just stroll, but now I'm starting to crave running again. So it's really funny. Okay, well, this year was incredible. Me and MK are going to be doing an end of year recap, and your name will definitely be included on there more than once as some highlights. But we're curious if, it's okay if you're on your break and you're not, but have you thought about, next year if you'll go back to sky running, or if OCC will become a big goal, etc.?
Next year for sure I would like to have two main goals. It will be the Europe Trail Championship. So it's in France. It's in Annecy. It will be longer, like 64 kilometers. But I really want to try because I'm sure I can be nice on this distance, and I want to see if it's possible. So Europe and then OCC. So two main goals, and I don't know about the sky running because we must do 5 races next year. So it's a lot. I know that I will have one race to qualify for OCC. So the Europe, also the French Championship. So I think it will be complicated to do everything. I also wanted to try maybe 1 or 2 or 3 Golden Try series, but I will see if it's possible with the calendar. So I don't know at this moment.
It's curious that skyrunning is also adding, like changing their qualifying from 3 to 5, because we've heard rumors that Golden Trail is also going to be upping their qualifying standards.
Ah,
I just don't get that.
They're just,
okay.
they're just
I
trying to
didn't
get
know for the
athletes.
Golden Trail. Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
To-
we don't know for sure, but like
Just just kind of like rumblings. I'm sure they'll come out with it soon. Yeah, I'm curious if it's just them fighting for the athletes to stay in their series, but
I think
that's
it's
such a
gonna hurt
bummer.
overall, because you have athletes like that are like, well, I wanted to do both and I can't, so maybe I just do something else.
Yeah.
Yes, that's it. They will lose some athletes if they do.
Interesting. Well, we'll have to see. So are the European Championships, will that count as a selection race for 2025 Worlds, or will you have to do another French championship?
I don't know. I would say if I am Europe champion, maybe it's okay, but I don't know. Really, it's they will decide. But
Will you get an automatic bid for being a national champion?
yes, when you're on national champion, you have your ticket for the.
Okay, so you're already
Yeah.
in for 2025 then.
Oh no, she
Yeah.
means for I
Yeah.
see.
So if 2025, yes, if you are French championship in 2025, you will do the world championship.
Okay.
So
Cool.
she'll have to re-qualify. But yeah, that is really cool that you guys have the European Championships, because that race is always so competitive, and I wish we had some version of that. I just don't know what it would look like. I guess NACAC kind of.
But just not that competitive, it seems. I mean, there's also only 3
Yeah.
countries so that show up.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish I could just jump in the European Championship and be unattached or something, because those races always look so cool. And then yeah, I mean, me and I'm carrying the same boat, just waiting for series calendars to come out, because you can't do 20 races in a year, right? And expect your body to come out okay. So you kind of have to like pick and choose. Kind of a last follow-up question is, have you decided on what your OCC qualifier is going to be?
Yes, it will be a Chanty Trail.
Oh,
It's
cool.
in
Is that
March.
China or?
No, Chianti. It's in Italy.
Oh, Italy. Okay, cool.
Yeah. I didn't find there isn't a lot of competitions, and I choose this one because it was like 45 kilometers and 1,500 ascent. So it's a good ratio to start the season.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
Yeah.
So final thing that we wanted to ask you about before we wrapped up was we just wanted to know a little bit more about Kip Run. Because we know that you've been on like the Evadict Kip Run team for a while, but this year you were telling us offline that it's just Kip Run now. But we don't know much about the brand because it's not like a common brand in America. So what brought you to Kip Run, and what's so special about it, I guess?
Yeah, so Kipran, Evadict was the ancestral of Kipran, but yes, now it's Kipran, and they do everything like shoes, all the clothes, and I really like their shoes. First, that's what was interesting me in that brand. And what I love also is that we have a nice team. We are 11 French girls, and this is very nice. Like we we don't train together, but we follow each other by messenger, and that's very a part of simply a brand. It's like you feel like a little family. Really, it's a it's a source of motivation for me to be in that brand also. And I also enjoy the bags. They do some very nice bags. And what I also love with them is that they listen to you. Like when I told them, this is not very fit, or they really listen to me and they try to change their product. So that's very interesting.
Yeah. Just seeing their shoes and pictures of their shoes, I feel that I would like them too. I like the shape of them. And it looks like the tread is nice for the type of races we like, just faster racing.
Yeah.
So that's cool. I mean, that's head to toe, and that's the only all women's team that I know of in our sport. And so that's incredibly cool that they're investing in women. And it's cool that they're starting with France, they're going to stay in France. But yeah, if I was a young girl or new young girls, I'd put Kip Run in front of them. I also just have to call out, I thought it was super smooth when you finished MCC and you like lifted your bib to show Kip Run. I was like, I need to do something like that just to rep the brand.
This was a total improvisation. Like I was in the race and I was thinking, what could I do to show Keep Run, because they will announce on UTMB that Evadict is now Keep Run. And so I had the belt and I told me, it could be a good idea. And so at the end I did this. People were like, she showed her sponsor, etc. And the girl who do the photos for us, she was embarrassed because she told me, good idea, but we wanted to tell it like another day of the week. I was a little bit too early to announce that, so it was a little proof.
I thought it was cool.
Yeah, little teaser. That's amazing. Well, it has been amazing having you today. Thank you so much for joining us on the Sub Hub.
Thank you. It was a real pleasure.
Yeah, we hope you have a
Huge
nice break.
congrats on an awesome season. This has been the Sub Hub, brought to you by Freetrail.